Welcome back to my channel. This is Scarlett Pimpernella with some great news for the Trump side. Yesterday, the Pennsylvania Appellate Court sided with Trump, and they are keeping Pennsylvania from extending the voter ID deadline. So that should bring Trump some votes, and it looks like he's going to need them because since, hang on, this is North Carolina. Let me go back to Pennsylvania here. Because since yesterday, Biden has picked up about 8,000 votes. Remember yesterday we looked at the voter count. So this is today's voter count, 3,402,513 votes for Biden, 3,342,352 votes for Trump, giving Biden a 60,161 vote lead. Now, without these outstanding lawsuits that Giuliani and Trump's legal team have put forward, it would look really bad for Trump at this point. But we also have to keep in mind some context and think about, for example, Arizona, that was called on the night of the election. And look, if you look at this map, this is Decision Desk HQ, and they're showing the results. And look, they're giving Biden the state of Arizona. But if you look at the actual votes, Biden has 1,668,684 votes as of today, and Trump 1,657,250 votes. That is just over an 11,000 vote lead for Biden. So it is extremely close in Arizona, and it is obscene that Fox News called Arizona with only a small portion of the votes actually having come in on that night. AP, CNN, all have followed suit, which is absolutely obscene. I got so irritated when I looked at it and wanted to see what kind of excuses the mainstream media has. So I put into Google a search, Arizona called for Biden with only 14% of the vote received. And it looks like I'm not the only one who was mad. The Trump campaign apparently was livid, according to the Washington Post, so take it with a grain of salt. Here's the NPR also with propaganda about why Biden is winning over Arizona voters. If he were really winning over Arizona voters, the vote count would be much more in favor of Biden today instead of just 11,000 votes. How AP called the race for Biden, they're explaining that, which gives them absolutely no credibility. And another thing to keep in mind is when you look at the state of North Carolina, you can see clearly the double standard because, well, first of all, on election night, we had the state of Texas with a huge lead for Trump, and they didn't call it. Florida was the same, huge lead for Florida, for Trump in Florida, and they didn't call it. And they had 98% of the votes in, 99% of the votes in, and still they didn't call it until really they had no other choice but to call it. North Carolina was a similar situation. They did not call North Carolina until early this week. So they were sitting on it, but look at the lead that Trump has. 2,744,299 votes for Trump. Biden, 2,672,900 votes. So Trump has a 71,399 vote lead, and why were they waiting to call it? Because they were still looking for those magical votes from the vote fairy to come. She didn't come. The vote fairy didn't deliver those votes. So all is not lost. Remember Rudy Giuliani on Maria Bartiromo's show on Sunday of last week. And he said that 450,000 mail-in ballots were processed while Republican observers were illegally kept away. And that's quite a big breach, a legal breach of what's required for an election to be considered fair and honest. Now, whether or not Pennsylvania is going to do a recount because of that breach or throw out those votes, we'll see. But the state of Pennsylvania is going to have to reckon with that breach of the law. And today we have even more good news. Actually, was this today? Yesterday, this came in, it was in the Epoch Times. 650,000 votes were counted unlawfully in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Rudy Giuliani was on Lou Dobbs, and on the 11th, so the day before yesterday, and he claimed that almost none of the hundreds of thousands of ballots were observed by Republican poll watchers. And he said this: we now are up to a count of about 650,000 ballots that are unlawful ballots cast in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. What's being said in the mass media that we have no evidence is a complete, absolute lie, just like they've been lying for years. And yeah, remember on Maria Bartiromo's show, he said that as many as 900,000 ballots might be invalid. So we'll see. At this point, it will take about 60,000 ballots to, and we're still waiting on the Supreme Court decision from Justice Alito. He ordered that those votes, that mail-in ballots that came in after 8 p.m. on November 3rd be separated from the other ballots. And we're still waiting on the Supreme Court decision as to what is to be done with those ballots. Remember that according to the US Constitution, the legislators are the ones who can make changes to how elections are conducted, not the Supreme Court, not the courts, not the judicial. And so when the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled and made those changes as to when mail-in ballots could be received, they violated the US Constitution. And so that's a pretty serious decision that the Supreme Court will have to make, and we'll see if they decide to stay in line with what the US Constitution says. So that's all I've got for today, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and best of best.